Welcome to the game room, Waddler-D. We're back for more Kirby Super Star Ultra for the Nintendo DS, and we are on the penultimate challenge, which is Meta Knightmare Ultra. And if you guys have played through Kirby's Nightmare and Dreamland at all, you would know that this mode had some significance in the past, but in some respects it was a little neutered in a sense where you didn't play through the entire game, and it was like, oh, you don't get to fight Nightmare's badass? No, you don't. There is a difference with Meta Knightmare Ultra. It's basically playing through the first 5 chapters, essentially the original Kirby Superstar, and experiencing it through his eyes. You do miss out on some particular bosses, mainly 2, but you also get a new final boss, which is actually one of the hardest bosses in the game, bar none. Like, there is only one other boss I would consider harder than this one that we're going to be going up against. And the mechanics of this game works because obviously Meta Knight does not have any freaking ability, so to speak. So he has to use the touchscreen to help him out. And the way to do that is that he defeats enemies, he gets orbs from these enemies, and it gives him a little bit of like a super meter. And we are going to use only one of these because since this is such a rehash of the original game, we don't want to take too much time through it. So what I'm going to be doing through much of this run is I'm going to be trying to speed run through it. I'm going to try to beat this in about 50 minutes or less. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to spam every speedrunner's favorite ability. Meta Knight is really pissed off that Kirby just like stomped his ass and ruined his plan. So good old revenge training will peck him right up. So here's the mechanics. Basically, we have 4 abilities. We got Meta Quick, Mock Tornado, which is as broken as you would expect, Heal, which is something we will not use, but there is a reason why I want to not use it. And then we have Night Call, which honestly, if you really need help, and Meta Knight rarely needs help, you can do that. But we're going to hover this right around Meta Quick, because Meta Quick is going to be our go-to ability. And I will show off how the other abilities work, and they are handy, but honestly, we just need Meta Quick. So, to begin with our little adventure of Meta Knight being the best player in the entire of Smash Bros. Brawl, you have to understand this man. This guy is basically a glorified Sword Kirby. He has pretty much better mobility, better speed, better damage. He's just all around more powerful. The only thing that Meta Knight has trouble with is weight, in that it's a little bit harder to control him while he's flying about. But here's a nice example of what happens when you fight Meta Knight in the forest. See, look at this very innocent Poppy Brother Sr. just get absolutely devastated. I mean, the only time he was a threat is when his body fell down on top of Meta Knight. Apparently Meta Knight was a little too good at his job. So, yeah, as you play Meta Knight, you'll just learn that he has 2 moves to talk about. One that you're already seeing, which is the down thrust. It is a very awesome move when it comes to speed. But when it comes to, like, range, is kind of crappy. This one, however, the up stab, or up thrust, is pretty damn effective. It does a good amount of damage, and as you can see, it shoots up a little wave-like projectile. Really damn good. And another thing to note, you probably saw Meta Knight's dash attack, and how much it's literally a damn bulldozer. Like, anything that gets in its way is pretty much cut through or just obliterated altogether. It is pretty much one of his best moves in terms of getting from point A to point B while killing anything you're Okay, one thing I must let you guys know about, watch out for Gordos and Burning Litos, because Burning Litos are really, really damn good at just screwing you over, and of course flying enemies, you're really good at picking you off, so keep in mind of all of those. See, he's trying to get another pot shot on me. Don't let him do that, because that is a good way that your momentum gets ruined and you die, because it does a ton of damage. Unlike this frickin' Mr. Frosty, who's too busy already dying from all those sword slashes. Like, when you fight a boss that's moving around, try to be like Meta Knight is in Kirby's Adventure, where he's moving back and forth, kind of making you make a mistake, or making you whiff or whatever, and then get a hit and run in. speaking of hit and run, these guys are pretty pathetic. This is Lololo and Lalala. You know about them well in advance, but Meta Knight's upstab is pretty much your go-to killing move, because you can hit them from below like this, and you have such great range from that, they're not going to really trouble you. And then if you're feeling like you need to get the jump on one, use your down thrust, but because they're going to be moving, and you're still going to be hitting them regardless. But as you can see, Meta Knight is just so damn overpowered. Like, I'm not even using all of his attacks. Like, healing would make this adventure even easier, because as you probably have noticed already, there are very little bits of food because of the gourmet race. Cutting in the food supply, something fierce. I mean, all this gluttony and people trying to please the crowds with a race. And wow, Kracko Jr., I didn't even have a chance to talk to you because jump attacks is all you need. I mean, just hit him like 6 or 8 times. I mean, be 5. And that's it. That's pretty much Kracko Jr. This level's almost already done. I mean, this is the reason why I'm just talking about Meta Knight and stuff, because there's nothing really to say here. It's, of course, frickin' Grizzow's falling from the sky. We don't need that. But all in all, this is basically kind of like a speedrun mode. You're just playing through the entire game as quickly as possible. And be sure to use down thrust when you're trying to fall down, because it increases your speed quite significantly. I'm not even going to talk about Kracko. It's basically just Kracko Jr. except dumber. Like, look at this freaking Waddle Dee, or Waddle Dee. He's basically saying, stop, stop, he's already dead! And then, no. And the Waddle Dee ends up getting killed too, so... Meta Knight is literally giving no shits right now, and we're already at freaking King Dedede. Like, your army, buddy, you really need to train him. But, of course, Dedede is going to be a little bit of a trickster in that he might hit you at least once because of the unpredictability of his attacks. Like, after he flinches, honestly, I think the thing I was doing wrong was basically giving him a chance, but... yeah, if you were to probably just hit him repeatedly, he won't even do anything. And Meta Knight's like, okay, that's fine, that was cool. Wow, Kirby's Dream Land is such a great game. Beat it in like 2 seconds. Yeah, beating Kirby's Dream Land in 5 minutes is quite incredible, but thankfully, we have a little bit more to discuss, and of course, the latter sub-games are going to be a lot more entertaining, a lot more stuff to say. Like, for example, you probably have the question, is he actually going to kill Dyna Blade? And you know what? Meta Knight's really, really environment friendly. He's like, dude, you just freaking littered on this lawn. I'm gonna have to ticket you for that. So we're gonna go after Dyna Blade now. And what we're gonna have to do here is we're going to have to understand Sir Kibbles. Sir Kibbles are all over the place, and they are deceptively annoying assholes. Like, they have this knack of hitting you when you least expect it. They will throw their cutter blades in the opposite direction of them, knowing that Meta Knight is literally going to kill them. So it's like, you know what, at least my blade is gonna do something when I'm gone. And that's exactly what happens sometimes. I'll be going through, just tearing ass, and then, oh yeah, by the way, Meta Knight's blade is just fantastic. It has great range, as you can see, that being able to hit that. I tried doing that with Kirby, with his sword. It didn't cut it. It just fell short. But Meta Knight, his range is so much better than Kirby's. Not to mention, he can light fuses with his freaking sword. And he also can knock in pegs with his down thrust. It's incredible. He basically can do everything in one sitting. He basically has the ultimate power. And there's a nice example of freaking Sir Kibble nearly killing me. So keep this in mind. When you're at low health, try to find some food, because a Sir Kibble will be around the corner and probably ending you. Like, see, he gave me mercy right there. He's just like, you're fine, you're flashing, you might die to Kawasaki. Kawasaki, no. Kawasaki's a joke. See, he's already dead. We didn't even have a chance to discuss, oh no, he might get grabbed by his pan move. No. This level is where you're going to start getting introduced to a little bit more hazards and a little bit more trouble. I feel bad for that Sword Knight. He just like, or Blade Knight, he just appeared on the screen. And I do enjoy the fact that if you try to decide to do extra credit in these, you're going to waste time. So don't do any extra credit. Oh my god, I guess that was his brother. That first Blade Knight's brother. Like, you know what? I'm gonna avenge him. I'm gonna take you out, Meta Knight. No. So now I'm in a... What did I tell you guys? What did I tell you about Sir Kibbles? 1 minute you're thinking you're fine, and next minute your one health ass self gets killed by a cutter blade. That's what you need to worry about, because that one will always snipe you. But other than that, this section is probably the hardest section, one of the hardest sections of Dyna Blade, mainly because of the high risk of death. Ick. The high risk of death that comes your way. Like, if you happen to get yourself caught in anything, honestly though, you shouldn't have any problems. I mean, Meta Knight is pretty much going to blast through that section. But be warned that there are other auto-scroll sections, mainly just one, and it will be a lot more dicey because the enemy variety is a little bit nastier. One thing you must note, though, if you're in a section that has a lot of enemies on the ground, you need to do the opposite. You need to be flying. And of course, you get Bonkers. The problem with Bonkers is that he takes about a full minute to actually move around and realize that someone's killing him, so he's gone. Unfortunately, he didn't get that memo, and here's a nice example of Meta Knight down thrusting a peg. It's gone, and you now get 3 extra lives. One thing that bugs me about this mode is that they have all these wonderful abilities that would require Meta Knight to not even use extra lives. But they give you a plethora of them regardless. Like, I have 9 lives at this point, and we're about to get 10. But when it comes to like food and maximum tomatoes, they do not care about you. They're like, oh yeah, here's like a piece of candy. I hope that'll get you across the county. No, Meta Knight's probably gonna die. And Grizzos. Grizzos are a fine example of an enemy that you want to ignore. Mainly also the Rockies, because they have so much HP that it makes them... One thing I do like about the dash attack with Meta Knight, if you use it on a ledge, Meta Knight is not going to fall in the ledge. He's just going to pretty much put his greaves deep into the floor and just hang on for dear life, and it kind of makes it very useful in that sense too, where you know you're not going to put yourself in any peril by using it. So by all means, if you're running through enemies, use the hell out of that move. But also watch out for Lava. Lava is going to be a very big threat for Meta Knight because since he is so much faster and more agile than Kirby, his movement is going to put him at more peril as he has to keep in better control, and when you're surrounded by lava blocks or spikes, well, you might end up hitting yourself upon one of them, and it's like, gosh. So be mindful of that. Of course, we're going to still do some of the things Kirby did, get our face slammed into a freaking block. And I do have to wonder how fast Meta Knight climbs ladders. Is it faster than Kirby? I'm going to have to check on that too, because that... He literally bullet trains up that ladder like it was a freaking, like, you know what I'm talking about. This is another fight where Meta Knight pretty much just kills the enemy. Like, most of these fights are gonna be Meta Knight slashes somebody multiple times and they die. That is unfortunately the truth about... But then when you have a Fire Leo just building up his freaking charge attack and blowing flames upside my face, then you might run into that situation. So like I said, Fire Leos, keep away from them. Don't give them any quarter. Same with the Kibbles. Don't let them do anything. Just kill them. Other than that, though, Meta Knight's not going to have too many problems. But, and of course, watch out for the Gordos. We can't talk enough about the Gordos. So, one more thing I have to discuss is the way to play Meta Knightmare Ultra. Basically, it is a power rush, but it's a power rush where you have to maintain it. If you die at all, you lose all your power, and as you can imagine, the way to get the best time in this game is to A, know how to play through, or know what routes to take. A good example of Meta Knight stealing Burning Lito's Sizzle. I do find it funny that he actually has the patience to sit in that cannon. I mean, he could have rocketed off in space anytime he likes, but no, he was like, you know what, I want to feel like it was. I wanted to understand how Kirby's feeling when he's in this damn thing. Oh yeah, and attacks are hilarious. Attacks are, like, pathetic. Like, they don't even touch Meta Knight. That's how screwed they are. Like, they'll like, stretch their hand out, and it goes through Meta Knight. He's like... And then Meta Knight just slashes him upside the face. Instant death. One thing you, again, watching out. Don't be very careful when you're taking fire damage, and mainly towards like a death pit, around a death pit. If you're above one or near one, you're gonna fall right in and die immediately. And then we have the boss gauntlet. You can imagine how this is going to go. I guess maybe they're actually gonna stand a chance for a moment. But I'm just taking it easy on them. You definitely will not have any problems with these guys. I mean, it's pretty much just a matter of, hi, I'm Meta Knight, you're dead. Just be sure to make your shots count to the point where they die from it and don't take unnecessary damage. Of course, these two are probably going to give you the toughest time of this gauntlet. Not to say that they're going to give you a tough time. And that is pretty much Dyna Blade. Oh, wait, we have one more dude. I keep forgetting Iron Mom. Or Iron Man, how you doing? How's it feel being in this little... Well, that was... Yeah, that didn't last. Okay, game, we can actually move on. She is actually gone. So, now we go on to the main event, not that imposter. We're going to talk about Dyna Blade, and that they give you a nice amount of food before the fight. But honestly, you won't even need it, because Dyna Blade's unfortunately kind of easy. Like, even with this awesome music from Castle Lololo, it's gonna be over. Like, all you just need to do is jump attack, and since Meta Knight has such great air mobility, you can stay in the air for like days. And you can trick up Dyna Blade, and then when you're done, you can do a nice little down thrust, and then Dyna Blade's like, oh, I'm actually deceased. So Dyna Blade's like, you know what, I'm sorry, these are my kids, I was just trying to rush home and take care of them. And Meta Knight's like, okay, I'm convinced. Now get the hell out of here. Go fly to the west, alright? Don't come back. Unless we remake Kirby Super Star again. So Meta Knight defends his territory and probably sets up his base for world domination. But we are running out of time, guys. Next time we're going to go through levels 3 and 4 and seeing how that's going to go about. You can imagine what it'll be. And Meta Knight's going to take a nice sit on this bed-like altar. Weird. So thanks for watching. Have a great day and adios.